Gotta catch 'em all. Everyone who's ever heard of Pokemon has heard this phrase, but what does that entail exactly? The task might seem monumental at first, but exactly how hard is it to catch every Pokemon in Generation 3? Hey guys, it's Cream. If you love the Pokemon games as much as I do, you want to squeeze as much out of them as possible. Today, I'm here to ask the question, can you complete the Gen 3 Pokedex in the year 2022? But first, I am a new content creator, so liking, subbing, and commenting really helps the channel out. With that said, let's jump right into it. First, there's a couple things you need. One, the Gen 3 games. Obviously, you can't catch all the Pokemon in Gen 3 if you don't have the games, so duh. So you need a couple, and by a couple, I mean Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, Pokemon Emerald and Sapphire, Pokemon XD, as well as Colosseum. Two, you need the consoles, obviously. You pretty much only need a Game Boy Advance and a GameCube, but having two Game Boy Advance consoles really speeds this up in terms of trading. Which brings me to my next point, adapters. They're pretty cheap nowadays. I think I got mine for like 15 bucks on Lukey Games, but you need one to connect the Game Boy Advance to the GameCube and so on and so forth. So with all the hardware, you'll roughly be spending 800 or 1,000 bucks just on games and consoles and cartridges and cables. Luckily, I have most of the equipment. I have a couple friends that lended me some, so that sped it up a little bit. Do not waste your money on this. It is not worth it. And finally, number 4, patience. You're gonna need a lot of patience. There's a lot of Pokemon you need to catch, and some of them take a long time. Part 1, Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. And so we start with Fire Red and Leaf Green. You can catch pretty much all the Pokemon in the Kanto Pokedex just by playing the games, so don't worry too much about that. There's just a couple hard Pokemon like Kangaskhan and Tauros in the Safari Zone that are annoying to catch, but other than that, you can get pretty much all the Pokemon. You will in fact need both copies of Fire Red and Leaf Green. The biggest problem is the version exclusives. You just have to trade them over from one copy to another and bada bing bada boom, you got them. You also need to reset a copy just to get the remaining starter Pokemon, the one you didn't choose in either playthrough of the game. And in Fire Red and Leaf Green, you can get most of the Johto Pokemon. I'm talking like half, like, it's insane. The only problem is, you can't get Mew. There was an event in 2006 which allowed you to get Mew on Faraway Island, but other than cheating or exploiting, you just can't get them. There is a glitch in Pokemon Emerald called the Pomeg Berry glitch, which allows you to get pretty much any Pokemon you want, but I'm not using that because that is too hard and I don't have the time for it. And obviously, since we're doing this without glitches, it makes it impossible to get Mew. But with all 150 Pokemon caught in Kanto minus Mew, let's move on to our second game. Pokemon Colosseum is a really cool game. You play as a cool character, stealing Pokemon is cool, the music is sweet, it's just amazing. Pretty much the only reason we're playing Pokemon Colosseum is to get Ho-Oh at the top of Mount Battle. To get Ho-Oh, you pretty much need to do two things. Purify all 48 Shadow Pokemon, which takes an unnecessary long amount of time, and getting to the top of Mount Battle in battle mode. And besides taking like 4 to 6 hours of your precious time, the later trainers, especially in like the 81 to 99 range, are pretty tough. By the time you reach the last guy, you have a pretty good amount of continues, so beating him's not that hard if your team is well organized. I streamed myself getting him, and here was my reaction to finally getting Ho-Oh for the first time. Oh my god, it's Ho-Oh. After 30 hours of purifying Shadow Pokemon, we move on to our next game, Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness. There's only one Pokemon we're trying to get in this game. Just like Colosseum, we're getting ourselves another legendary bird, Lugia. The only other way to get Lugia is from an event in Emerald that you had to be there in 2006 for, so kinda impossible. Unlike Ho-Oh, all you gotta do is beat the game, you catch Lugia at the end, it's easy peasy. Purifying him is kind of annoying though. Which brings us to our third game, Pokemon Emerald. This is the game where we catch the majority of Hoenn Pokemon. Some of them are really hard to get. It took me 4 hours to get a Phoebus, but other than that, you can pretty much get them all. The only Pokemon you can't get are Zangoose, the Lotad line, and the Surskit line. Now, we caught Zangoose in XD, and we'll use our 4th and final game to catch Lotad and Surskit. I actually lied a little bit. You can get Lotad and Emerald. You can't get Surskit, Meditite, Roselia, Zangoose, or Lunatone. You can get Meditite in Colosseum. Roselia, Zangoose, and Lunatone are all available in XD. And you can actually get Surskit in the Oasis Pokespot in Pokemon XD, so you don't need Sapphire at all. I don't know what I was talking about. My bad. I know we haven't been keeping track so far, but if you put all the Pokemon we caught together, we get 382, which puts us just 4 shy of the whole living dex. And we know we can't catch Mew, so what other 3 Pokemon are we missing? Well, just like Mew, there's 3 other mythical Pokemon, but can you get them? Celebi is technically available in Gen 3. You just need the Japanese Colosseum bonus disc and a Japanese GameCube. So if you really want Celebi that bad in Gen 3, it's going to cost you a couple $100. Okay, so no Mew and no Celebi. But how about Jirachi and Deoxys? Jirachi is another one of those crazy events that happened way back when, but there are actually 2 ways to get it. You probably know if you got the pre-order disc for Pokemon Colosseum, it came with a special bonus disc that let you transfer Jirachi onto your GBA games. I don't have that, but there is one more way. I bet you probably didn't know. If you did, let me know. It is through the PAL version of Pokemon Channel. If you beat the game in Pokemon Channel, I kid you not, they give you a Jirachi that you can transfer onto your GBA games. It's kind of nuts. But I think this means you need to get a PAL GameCube, and you need to pay for shipping, and that's another money I don't have. So, oh well. Okay, so you can't get Jirachi either, but how about Deoxys? Surely there's got to be a way to get him. In Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Deoxys is available in the Delta episodes of those games. That's like after you beat the game and beat the Elite Four and everything. However, in the Gen 3 Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, there is no official way to get Deoxys anymore. That event has been lost to time. You're not going to get them. Without events, Deoxys is just not available. You'd have to be a dirty, stinking cheater to get them with an action replay or a Pomeg Berry glitch, and I ain't one of those. So can you complete a Generation 3 living dex anymore? No. You can still get the certificate that says you caught all the Pokemon in the region, but you're still going to be missing 4 Pokemon that are just lost to time. So that about does it. You can't get a Generation 3 Pokedex in 2022. You can't have fun. Game Freak doesn't like people completing their games that are over a decade old. Playing through them all again, though, was super fun. I really recommend it if you have the means. Just emulate them, honestly. Like, who cares? So that's the whole thing. That's the whole story. If you like this video, click the like button. Subscribe would be mint. Comment if you can. Yeah, thanks for watching. One more quick note. I do stream every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, I think. I don't even remember. Check them out. I know I'm like a small YouTube guy, but yeah, we play games and we have fun and just sort of a good time. Later, skaters.